Hey guys, STTP straight to the point here. Today we're gonna do Nubatama deck profile. I am sure the title that's recording this video. So let's just get started. For starters, we're running Madoi. Madoi is the ideal dominate starter. I use it at 2 because it's just like really fun to have a dominated unit attack for like 21k, so 15k guard. I know what its skill is. GB1, put it to your soul. When a dominated unit attacks during your turn, draw a card, choose up to one of any player's rearguards, and give plus 2k. So you can give your own rearguard plus 2k or your opponent's rearguard plus 3k. Next, of course, for Shiranui Aburo, the stride break for dominate. Its skill is first, at the beginning of your ride phase, you choose a card from your opponent's drop zone. Well, you may choose a card, you don't really have to. And then your opponent can call it anywhere, so he can call it to like an occupied rigor trickle or I don't know. Then at the end of the turn, retire it. It gets retired. And its other skill, its stride break skill. When you're doing its stride, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards, stand it, and dominate it. And at the end of turn, it gets plus 4,000, and it can attack your opponent's other unit. Your opponent's other unit, I don't know. So yeah, dominate. Whatever. Next, we're using 3 Morishige. Some people might use the original Shiranui, but I think that you don't actually have to use it because you're gonna want to ride into this one anyways. And this is like a beat stick. Its skill is once per turn, GB1. Choose one of your other rear guards and rest it. Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards. It gives it plus 3k, and if he chose a unit, this gets plus 10k. So this is good to pump up dominated unit attacks. I like using it because it's like 21k attack straight off the bat. It's really good. Next, for grade 2s, we're using 4 Tamahagane Metsu. It's a double rare from GB12. Its skill is when it's placed on Vanguard or rearguard, bind up to 1 card from your deck face down. Its other skill is once per turn, GB1. When a dominated unit attacks during your turn, it's gonna blast 1. If you do, choose one of your face down cards from your bind zone and put in your hand. And if you do, it gets plus 10k. So this is good for increasing hand size. You can use Genkai instead, but I just think this is better. Even though Genkai can be used many times, this gets plus 10k and for count plus 1. Note, you can look at the face on card you bound, so you can choose if there are like multiple face on cards bound. So yeah. Next, for Furai. Its skill is its first skill. Once per turn, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your opponent's drop zone. And he calls it to an open record circle, and at the end of the turn, he retires it. So, unlike Shiranui, this has to call to an open record circle. It's good because when you use Mugen Lord, your opponent can call over unit for less attacks, so you get more attacks essentially. And its other skill is GB1. When another unit attacks during your turn, if you have a Shiranui Vanguard, it gets plus 2k. So basically, dominate 5 from your opponent's field. They all attack plus 10k right away. And then when your other rearguard attacks, plus 2k plus 2k. So a maximum of, let's say, 7. If you get a stand trigger, then I don't know how many, 8. Yeah. Next, 3 Ungai. Its skill is choose a card from your hand, discard it. When a dominated unit attacks, during your turn, you put the Gauss. If you do, draw a card, and it uses this ability until the end of the turn. I don't really use that because I use its other one because it's way more better. When this unit is placed on your guard circle, choose up to 2 of your guards and up to 1 of your opponent's units, and the power of those units increase or decrease to 11,000 until end of turn. So basically with this, your opponent's Vanguard stays at 11, even though you get the trigger. You know, Valios, yeah, this is basically Valios, except it's on call and it's grade 2. What's so good about this is that usually I have like this and 2 grade 0s, right, in the 4Ks. I call them here and call this. I set these grade 0s to 11K, so they're attacking for 22 now, boosted with each other. So this is really good. It surprises my opponent because he doesn't know that grade 0s can be like 15K attacks. You know, like 15K guards, yeah, whatever. Okay, grade 1s. Forest Shard Fodder. Pretty self-explanatory, no need to explain that. 4 Utsuroi. This is the Dominate PG. It has the standard PG skill, but its other skill is, when it's in the drop zone, choose a copy of itself from the drop zone and put it to the bottom of the deck. When a dominated unit hits a Vanguard, you can add this to your hand if you pay the cost. It's basically SRS, but you have to let a dominated unit attack hits. Yeah, it's really easy to understand. Next, for Tanukis. This is basically Metsu, but instead, when you call it, you can bind 2 instead of 1. And when a dominated unit attacks, instead of adding the card to your hand, it goes to your soul, and this gets plus 5k. Combined with Metsu, when boosting Metsu, who is rated plus 10k, so 12 plus 19, 31. Easy 31k column. You can use it at 4, but I like using it at 3 because of this. 3 10 guy. This is basically your counter charger. When dominated unit attacks during your turn, it gets at the end of the turn, put this to the soul and counter charge 1. You can take out one of this and bump this to 4, or take out one of this and make this 4, but I like using 3 because it's pretty balanced. It's pretty situational. Most of the time, I don't need to use this. Most of the time, I dislike using this because I face against Vanquisher a lot. Yeah. So, for the triggers, 4 critical, 2, notably, Shenmue crit, and this Red Lightning clone. If you don't know what a Red Lightning clone does, when it moves to the soul, counter charge 1. So, free soul charge and counter charge. And then we use 4 stands. The after image stand, don't use the one from Dupe 11 because that's the worst stand in the world. I don't even know why that was created. This one's way better. So first after image, you don't really care about that, but GB1, when it's placed on your guard, if the number of cards you have is less than your opponent, draw 1, shuffle your deck, and choose one for your other units, and it gets plus 2k. So what I like about this is that it can help filter your deck a lot. Basically what I'm saying is that, like, for example, I'm at like 6 or 4 left. I use this. If I dropped another one, shuffle. If you have 4 of this in your deck, it's an infinite loop. You can get infinite power with this. But that doesn't happen that often because, you kill your opponent or you die before that happens. But stands is really awesome because, 1921 stand, 4 heals. So, moving on to the strides. First, to Shinui Mukuro. This is the GR from GBT12. Its skill is GB2, so best to choose a face down card from G zone, then face up. Choose a card from your hand, discard it. Stand and dominate all of your opponent's vanguards and attack. For that battle, the Vanguard battles all your opponent's rear guards, and you can do twin drive with this. So this is good against like Luard matchups. You call something from the drop zone and dominate that, because note that your opponent's Vanguard battles the rear guards, meaning if your opponent's rear guards have greater power, it won't hit. So with this, you can field wipe Luard, no stride skill, they have to use their hand, and then yeah, basically, and then you can also gain hand with this. Most of the time I use only once, but like I use it twice once, and yeah, it's not bad. Next we're using for Magun Tenbu. Magun Tenbu skill is Kanabasa 1, choose a face on card with the same name from your G zone, turn face up. Choose one for your opponent's rear guard, gets plus 3k for each face up card in your G zone. Stand it and dominate it, and attack your opponent's unit, and not enough to battle or retire it. So this is your first stride and what you use to kill your starter, your opponent's starter. Basically, in the first stride, you have your oh my god. Okay, fine. You have your Madoi, right? Okay, so you use Shinui to dominate your opponent's starter. Move this to the soul. Give your opponent's starter plus 3k. Basically, it hits now, right? Because, 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 5, that's 12. Use this, dominate again, and then retires it. Your opponent's starter gets retired. So it's really fun, well, fun for you, not for your opponent, because, who would like their starters getting killed? Not me. So, next, two Mujin Nord. So, most people might ask me, what using only 2 Mujin Nord and 4 Magun Tenbu? Mujin Nord, needs your opponent's field being full, or at least 3. To have value, or else it's just a waste. This is really situational. I don't use it that much. I usually go Mukuro and Magun Tenbu. So yeah, most of you might know Mujin Nord skill, but I'll read it anyways. Once per turn. Oh my god, please, thank you. Once per turn. Oh my god, please. Aha, okay. Once per turn, choose a face-down card with the same name, turn face up. Choose up to the same number of any player's rear guards as the number of face-up cards from your G-zone, and they get plus 5,000 until end of turn. Stand all of your opponent's rear guards that were chosen and dominate them, and each attack your opponent's vanguard one at a time. So, this can only attack a vanguard. You can attack rear guards, but with this you can actually choose your own rear guards. So you have 10 face up in your G zone, you use this, dominate 5, and give 5 rear guards plus 4. Note the ability can't stack, so it's fine. Yeah, okay, whatever. Next, please get out of the way. 1 Sugamarakan. This card is amazing and expensive. Okay, whatever. The price, screw the price. We only want the card. GB2 converts to choose a face down card from G zone, turn face up. When it's placed on Vanguard Circle, you pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses 4 cards from his or her hand, bangs the rest face down, and until end of turn, it goes back. So, basically, this is the reason hand size, drop power doesn't matter at all. It's useless because with this, for example, your opponent has like 20 cards in hand, 5 damage. Use this, it becomes 4. And you can use this before you share no stride skill. So use this skill, then after that dominate. And if you have like this, And this, where's the Tanuki? This one. You can do a lot of damage. You can even kill them this turn. Use this when they're at 45 damage, and you have to like use 3 G guards or 2 G guards. Because G guards is like one of the biggest weaknesses to this. 1 GB8. Skill is when opponent's unit is placed on guard circle from hand, you may counter blast 1 or soul blast 1. If you do, your opponent chooses 2 cards from his or her hand and discards them. The thing about this is it doesn't work with intercept or G guards. But for example, your opponent has like 3 cards in hand, right? He PGs. Since it's your turn, you can use this skill first before your opponent pays the cost for the PG. So he has 3 cards, puts a PG down, 2 cards, use this skill, discard 2. So your opponent can't pay the cost for the PG anymore. So that's what's nice about it. Next, 1 T-Breeze, because grade 2 gaming. And then for G guards, we're using 1 TDG guard. Skill is when on place. If you have less cards than your opponent, plus 5k shield. You know, 31k shield, easy. 1 Dismal to protect your Tamahagane Metsus and stuff. 1 Zashiki something Majiki. It's the Super G guard, well, Super G guard. Its skill is choose a face down G guard and turn face up. When it's placed, your opponent can discard 1 card. If he does not, he gets plus 20k shield. So if your opponent goes for broke, 0 card in hand, attack with Vanguard, you can discard, can't do nothing about it. Plus 20k shield, easy. 2 Gehokaran. This dominate G guard. Its skill is can blast 1, soul blast 1. When it's placed on Garden Circle, you pay the cost. If you do, choose one of opponent's grade 1s in the back row and dominate it and move to Garden Circle. So 31k shield. Well, yeah, if your opponent has a grade 1 in his or her back row. I actually flip this for this. So when I use this, I flip this instead. Use this to like, you know, one time I was fighting against Great Nature. He wanted to like do current tiger. He cheap shot with this. Cheap shot. G guard, I use this to retire the grade 1 behind the current target didn't attack yet, so he was screwed. He messed up that time. So yeah, that's basically it. This looks really fun. I'm gonna do a Messiah deck profile once I complete it. I'm still missing 1 part, just one part of my deck, but yeah, that's about it. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time.